Thank you for coming. Most of us have heard the term secular humanism, but how many of us really know what it is? Do you know what it means? If this is a final exam, and the only question was, what do secular humanists believe, would you have any idea where to start? Roy Speckard, Executive Director of the American Humanist Association, sums up the central idea of secular humanism in the Washington Times. Quote, "Secular humanism rejects supernaturalism in its effort to help people lead ethical lives of personal fulfillment that aspire to the greater good of humanity." End quote. Today, I would like to inform you about the three core beliefs of secular humanism. Secular humanism can be broken down into three core beliefs, as listed by the Council of Secular Humanism on their website. It is a naturalistic philosophy that rejects supernaturalism, a cosmic outlook rooted in science, and a consequentialist ethical system. I find secular humanism an extremely interesting subject, and in preparation for this speech, I read numerous articles on the subject, as well as watching several videos by both supporters and detractors of secular humanism. Secular humanism is increasingly pervasive in our society, and knowledge of the subject is necessary for one to identify it and either accept or reject these teachings. In the Humanist magazine, Rob Boston states, quote, "Polls indicate that some interesting shifts are underway in religious life in the United States. The number of people identifying their religion as none has crept upward again, now hovering at around 20%. At the same time, trust in institutionalized religion is dropping. With up to a fifth of people identifying themselves as non-religious, it is necessary for any well-rounded person to know what secular humanists believe." Let's look first at the naturalistic philosophy of secular humanism, which rejects the supernatural. At the core of secular humanism is that only what is observable through the five senses exists. If it can't be perceived, it cannot exist. They reject any form of the supernatural. So throw out angels, psychics, miracles, and most notably, a God. Humanists reject the idea of a God. Author Peter Cave states, quote, "Understanding the world without God, giving sense to the world without God, is the heart of today's humanism." So now that you're aware of the naturalistic focus of secular humanism, where they don't find truth, let's examine where secular humanists do find truth. You guessed it, science. It limits life to... Secular humanists have a cosmic outlook rooted in science. It limits life to the rational limits of the universe. Nothing can exist that defies physical laws, such as any form of afterlife. It relies on scientific methods to explain our existence, one of the most familiar being Darwinism. Secularhumanism.org defines humans as, quote, "undesigned, unintended beings who arose through evolution, possessing unique attributes of self-awareness and moral agency." In other words, you are just an accident with a conscience. We have seen their heavy emphasis on science as the ultimate source of knowledge. Finally, let's look at their consequential ethical system. Humanists reject... A consequentialist ethical system is a moral code based on the results of an action. A humanist decides not to steal, not because God said so, but because of the possible consequences. Now, most ethical systems are founded on a predetermined law set by a supernatural being. We have the Ten Commandments, Taoism with its path, and we're all familiar with the Quran, the book of law even more restrictive than Southern Baptist parents. Humanists reject the idea of a divinely inspired moral code and live according to their predictions of their actions. I lie, I ruin that relationship. I kill, I get put on death row. I touch some endangered animal egg. The government finds me more than I can make in a year. They weigh risk versus benefit for themselves. Instead of looking to faith for guidance, they look to reason. Now that you have heard about the three core beliefs of secular humanism, let's review. In conclusion, there are three primary foundations onto which secular humanism is based. It is a naturalistic philosophy which rejects the supernatural, a cosmic outlook rooted in science, and a consequential ethical system. Rejecting supernaturalism, secular humanists seek to lead ethical lives of personal fulfillment, aspiring for a better future for humanity. In his book, Good Without God, What a Billion Non-Religious People Do Believe, Harvard's humanist chaplain Greg Epstein states, quote, "In short, humanism is being good without God. It is above all an affirmation of the greatest common value we human beings have, the desire to live with dignity, to be good. But humanism is also a warning that we cannot afford to wait until the next life to be good. Because today, the short journey we have from birth to death, womb to tomb, is all we have. Humanism rejects dependence on faith, the supernatural, divine text, resurrection, reincarnation, or anything else for which we have no evidence. To put it another way, humans believe in life before death."